Hey guys, Tina here and welcome to another wrap-up video. I read another 3 books. Oh, why do I say that so weird? I don't know. Maybe just me. I can't speak. Hey guys, Tina here and welcome to another wrap-up video. I managed pretty quickly this time around to read 3 books and I want to talk about them. For the most part, I did really enjoy them, at least 2 of them very much. The third one was sort of mediocre, but all in all, I'm very pleased with the books that I read, so I want to share that enthusiasm with you. Hopefully it will come across. The first book that I read is The Angel of Darkness by Caleb Carr, which is book 2 in the Laszlo Kreutzler series by this author. The first book is The Alienist that I read recently, and I also watched the TV show and enjoyed it. So naturally I decided to pick up book 2. I don't think that you naturally, that you have to read them, you know, like book 1 and book 2. But again, since we are following the same crew of people that we met in book 1, I think that sort of makes sense. But regarding the cases, it doesn't really matter. Anyways, we follow Laszlo Kreutzler, who is an alienist, which means that he studies people with mental illnesses, because in that time, in the late 1800s in New York, or just in general, I guess not just New York, they were known as alienated because they were sort of separated from their nature, and that's what they were called. And anyway, he again stumbles into a mystery, a murder mystery, and he and his crew sort of try to figure out what's going on, and basically once, well, just to solve the case. Let's just put it that way before I say something that I should not say. Anyways, I really enjoy these books. I have to say that I listened to The Alienist and this one, and I think that, at least for me, was a better way of doing it, because the text is pretty dense, the writing is pretty dense, and I think that if I actually was to read this book in a physical format, it would take me forever. There's some of, I guess, the slang of that time, so, you know, I don't know. I found it to be just a really pleasant read. The narrator is fantastic. Again, I forgot who it is. I will leave it down here, his name. I just loved hearing him. He has a nice voice, I guess, which is the point of voiceover artists, of course. But anyways, I love this crew. I love these people. They're so very flawed. They're so very different from one another. And they bring so much to the case, and I just love how sometimes they bicker, and they're just a very pleasant gang. I love the writing. It's beautiful. As I said, it's dense, but it's really beautiful and pleasant. The case was, yeah, it was not pleasant. I did not enjoy the case as much as the one in the first book, simply because of the nature of it, I think, and I really didn't care for the perpetrator. Aside from that, well, you're not supposed to, probably. Anyways, and I really hope that the third book comes out soon. I don't know, I thought it was coming this year, maybe next year, I'm not sure, but I really want it. And all in all, if you're looking for a great murder mystery, I think this is a great pick. As I said, for you know, when I talked about the first book, it's not that spectacular. It doesn't bring that, although maybe it did back when it came out, because these are not the youngest, they're not, you know, recently published. So maybe it was sort of like the first book, and then other people sort of made the same, started writing the same way. I'm not sure exactly about that, but all in all, if you're reading it today, it's not something, you're not going to find anything in it specifically that it's different from other books regarding how the crime is solved and all that. So, you know, don't expect to be blown away by that. I think it's just basically, for me, it's the combination of everything, the characters, the storytelling, and the atmosphere of the period and the New York City and wherever they go. And I think it's just honestly the combination of all that that I really enjoyed. And as I said, I cannot wait for the next book in the series, although I think I'll probably be listening to these at some point before that book comes out or whatever. So yeah, that was a great start. Then I read a book that everybody's been praising. It's such a good book. It's such a good romance. And I thought it was mediocre, and that is The Hating Game by Sally Thorne. So this is a book that has the hate to love trope. Basically, these 2 people work in a publishing company, and basically it used to be 2 different companies, but they merged together, and now they're still sort of, they sort of still feel separate because the two crews from one and the other don't get along all that well. At least our main protagonists don't get along all that well. And of course there's chemistry between them and all that you would expect. And it was a pleasant read, I have to say. It was a pleasant read, but I don't know what it is, but when it comes to romance lately, I really have not found a book lately again that that I would be enjoyed, that would surprise me in a way that would blow me away or something like that. Years back, I used to only read romance books. So really, I think that nothing surprises me when it comes to these books. I don't know. I'm just maybe tired of them. I don't know. As I said, maybe I also listened to it. So I don't know, the narrator, maybe just the main female protagonist is sort of, I thought she was all over the place. And the guy was sort of, I don't know, not really masculine in my opinion. I mean, he was, it's just, you know, I don't know, he's sort of, you know, I don't know, he just wasn't active. I felt, you know, everything sort of happened, I felt, which is fine. I mean, it's fine, but I didn't feel like he really took any initiative. Maybe sort of, but really in a more passive way. I don't know, I'm just talking here because I really don't know how to explain why I didn't care for it as much as other people seem to. As I said, I read tons and tons of romance in my younger days, and this one just didn't really grab me as much as I expected it, because there's so much basically hype surrounding this book anyways. So it is, you know, good for if you're in a reading slump or something like that, which is what I use romance novels for, or, you know, new adult or whatever. But yeah, anyways, the third book that I'm going to talk about is Arabella and the Battle of Venus by David D. Levine, which is book 2 in the Arabella Ashby series that started with Arabella of Mars, in which we met Arabella. Again, this is sort of a historical young adult book that takes place in an alternate universe to our own. So it is our own, but there are slight differences. Mainly the one that we have conquered our solar system, and clearly Arabella lives on Mars. Her family is quite wealthy, and they have a plantation of this very type of wood that is used to make airships, because of course you have to travel to get to Mars or other planets, and it's a very good wood to make ships out of, I guess, and they're pretty wealthy. And the thing is that Arabella in book 1, she is pretty wild. She's not ladylike, which is a problem for her mother, and she basically gets shipped off to London, and there she's supposed to become a lady and, you know, learn how to comport herself in the right manner. But soon she finds out that her father has died, and things don't seem exactly okay, so she decides to go back to Mars and try to figure out what's going on. And in order to do that, she dresses up as a boy and smuggles basically on this airship, which I love that trope. When a girl dresses up as a boy, I just love it. Again, the question that I posed when I talked about Arabella Mars: have you ever read when the roles were reversed, when a boy dressed as a girl? If you have, please let me know a recommendation down in the comments. I have not. Anyways, this is book 2, and it continues her story, so I cannot tell you more about it, but I guess the title does reveal a large part of what's going on. I just really adore these books. Arabella is so strong and courageous and just really confident, I guess, and I love reading about her. She's tough, really, she's so tough, and I loved her. Really, she's, I don't know, as a young adult, well, a reader of young adult literature or fantasy, you know, you don't usually see young female protagonists that are this strong and composed and know what they want and just are not afraid to act on it. I love the historical elements in this one. We meet Napoleon, so there are basically some historical elements from our own history that are incorporated in the books. The writing is beautiful. I love, there's actually a lot about talk about how these ships work, which honestly I don't understand. That's a bit too much for me, but it doesn't take away from the story, and it's all very adventurous, and there's like there is romance, but it's not in your face at all. It's very, it plays a part, but it's not, you know, there's not a lot of kissing, there's not a lot of touching, there's nothing, maybe because the author is a man, I don't know. It's definitely, I think it would definitely be different if the author was female anyways, but it's, as I said, it's not in your face, so if you don't like romance books or romance in your books, I think you can basically just go past it. You know, it doesn't really matter all that much. There were hints of a love triangle, I will have to say that. You know, if you're bothered even by that, like just a smidge, then I don't know, pick it up or not, I don't care anyways, but it's not really again in your face. As you're reading it, you're thinking basically, is that another option or not, you know, but well, you have to read the book to see what happens anyways. But I really enjoyed it, and book 3 will come out pretty soon, so I'm really looking forward to that one. I'm not sure whether or not it's just a trilogy or a series, but I just adore these books. So if you're looking for something really nice, really adventurous, and slightly historic, well, historical anyways, maybe pick these books up. They're really good. Nice, and the cover is just beautiful. Anyways, those were all the books that I managed to read recently. But yeah, hopefully that will continue. I just, well, I didn't just discover script, but I just started using it, and I really love, you know, that suddenly I have options of reading or actually listening to a lot of audiobooks. Lately, that's the main way that I get through books. If I was reading a physical copy, I don't think that I would actually read that quickly, if that's the word I'm going to use here. I guess it is. But yeah, so if you want to try audiobooks and you don't have access to Overdrive, maybe go check that out. I will leave the link down below. I mean, I don't have anything to do with it, just, you know, the official link to the site. But yeah, before I ramble even more, thank you for watching this video, and see you in my next one. Bye!